Yeah. I expose you to your head explode. Most of these rappers I ain't feeling, I'm a germaphobe. The money is my company, success along the road. Most of these rappers.
What is going on, guys? I'm the Jovihead and I am back with another commentary. This time the subject of this commentary is going to be all about the tanks of Battlefield 4. The main battle tanks and the IFVs, the infantry fighting vehicles. All the loadouts that I believe, obviously I believe, this is strongly my opinion, strictly my opinion. This is not the right thing to do. This is only what I think, or what I play best with, and maybe it'll help you out decide if you can't decide what you want to do for your loadout. Maybe this will help you in some kind of way, but that's what I'm here to talk about. So first, let's start it off with the main battle tanks. For the main shell, I like to have the HE shell. Now, I don't know what HE stands for. It's just an acronym, obviously, but all it says on Battlelog is HE shell. This is the second shell that you unlock. It's like the fatter shell. Supposedly it moves slower and it's got some type of fire in it, but I've noticed that it does much more damage to vehicles than the first shell does, the AP shell. It does much more damage, and it also takes care of infantry just as well. But that's the thing that makes me choose the HE shell over the Sabot shell. It's like S-A-B-O-T. I don't know if that's an acronym or not, but it's like the big, it's pretty much, that shell is just a big chunk of metal with a spike that just penetrates things. It spreads them out from the backside and just penetrates right down the middle, and it does a whole lot of damage to vehicles. But it doesn't really do anything to infantry unless you like hit them in the face. But obviously that's going to happen with either one of the other shells. So the HE shell handles tanks very well, vehicles very well, and it also handles infantry. So for the main shell, I would definitely go with that one. For the second shell, I go with the guided shell. Mainly because if you have a helicopter giving you some issues, you need that guided shell. But that's only going to work if you have someone with a SOFLAM. Like, the thing is, there's so many snipers. I'll get on this issue later in a different video, but there's so many snipers and they never use their little camera thing. Like, they don't use their SOFLAM, handheld SOFLAM to light things up. But if they did, the tanks could just whip out their guided shell and then take him out. But the gunners do unlock the SOFLAM. There's no third seat for the SOFLAM, but the gunners do unlock a SOFLAM edition for them later on once you unlock more things throughout your whole tank experience. So if you team up with like a squad member and you talk to him, you're like, hey, put on the SOFLAM, I'll put on the guided, you can take out air, and then you can pretty much control the game if you know how to use it right. Now the other one is a staff shell. I haven't used this yet, but the staff shell says it's a smart warhead that notices enemies and then explodes above them for high critical damage. Now I haven't used this on vehicles yet to see how well it works, but I haven't used it on infantry either. But I would consider the shell if you don't like the guided shell, because the staff shell you can fire at any time. The guided shell you have to lock onto something. So there's pros and cons to both of those. And the MG guns, I guess the MG guns are alright. I mean, it's just an MG gun. It really, I would not put it over either one of the other shells. And then the canister shell. The canister shell is perfect if you just want to be a killing team, or like a kill whore and not really try and accomplish anything besides collect kills. That'd be perfect for you. But otherwise, I wouldn't really use that. For the countermeasure, I use the smoke screen. I use the smoke screen because I'm not really 100% sure how the active protection works. I'm not sure if you have to do it whenever someone's about to lock onto you, or if you have to do it before and then it just stays with you. But what that does is supposedly it gives you like a force field, and it'll just kill any type of missile that's going to come after you whenever they shoot it at you, but then it has to reload. So I just use the smoke screen because the smoke, I know how to use it, and whenever I'm getting locked on, you just pop out the smoke screen and you're good to go. Now I'm not really sure why someone would choose the extinguisher, because at that point obviously you're already not too far gone, but you're pretty much hurt really bad. I would go with the smoke screen over the extinguisher. Obviously, it's all opinion. For the optics, I use zoom. I use the zoom optics because the IRNV and the thermals, they're just too bright. Like the IRNVs, I've used that and it doesn't show their heat signature. I'm not sure if it's because I'm on hardcore, but it doesn't, like, I thought it was supposed to make the enemies orange and like show their heat and then you can see them vividly, but it doesn't. You can't see it. The thermals in Bad Company 3, everyone had thermals on. Pretty much everyone had their thermals on. And it would help you see mines and you could clearly see the people. But in this game, the thermals are way too bright. You can't distinguish anything. And sometimes I don't know what they did to the thermals, but they messed them up. And maybe it'll be fixed on PS4 and Xbox One, but on PS3, the thermals and the IRNV optics are not the way to go. I would just stick to zoom. That's just the way to go. Now, for the upgrades, I go with reactive armor. Now, reactive armor is much different than in Battlefield 3. In Battlefield 4, reactive armor doesn't really give you the extra plates. It doesn't take an extra hit for you on the outside of your tank. All it does is it means it has to take more of a damaging hit to be a critical hit. A critical hit is whenever you get hit and you can't move, you're just disabled, you're stuck there, and you're just a sitting duck. It takes a whole lot stronger of a hit for it to become a critical hit. That's what reactive armor does. In Battlefield 3, it would just give you an extra plate. It would hit that plate and pretty much take a hit away from that. But that's not how it is in Battlefield 4. But I would definitely go with reactive armor as your upgrade. Now, for the gunner, I have the SOFLAM. I have the SOFLAM, and then if my tank member or if my tank driver has the guided shell, then you're good to go. That's the combination that you want. But if he doesn't have a guided shell, and because people also don't, the engineers never want to freaking lock onto it. If you lock them, you can sit there for 3 minutes locking onto something, and nobody will freaking lock onto it and shoot it, and it's just all messed up. If that happens, go with the zoom. Can't mess up with the zoom. I wouldn't mess with the thermals or the IRNV because I've already talked about that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I'm sorry I didn't get to the IFVs. They're pretty much all the same. For the primary shells, go with the APF-SDS/T, and for the secondary, go with the Zuni missiles. There we go. Thank you guys for watching this video. I'm the Jovi Head, and I'm out.